What's up guys, Agent here with the first of our Greymoor PTS theory crafting videos, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Perfected Maelstrom Staff, whether or not it's going to be worth it for you guys to go ahead and farm VMA for the Perfected Maelstrom Staff once it goes live. Now, as a reminder, and I'm going to say this at the beginning of almost every single one of my PTS videos, this is the first week of the PTS, and thus the values that we see here and the effects are subject to change. So for those of you guys who haven't really played on PTS before, PTS goes is pretty predictable when it comes to how they're going to patch things out in the coming weeks. First week is obviously the release, then you have a second week, which is usually changes that they weren't able to push in the first week that they had planned, or just sort of key issues and key bug fixes here and there. Week 3 is when they start pushing out combat changes and other sort of changes based on player feedback from Week 1. Week 4, much like Week 3, can push through more balance changes that have been kind of based off of feedback from Weeks 1 and Week 2. They can also be bug changes as well. In the 5th week, much like 3 and 4, more changes based on feedback that have been obtained through the PTS cycle, whether through videos like this, Twitch streams, or forum posts, or / feedback in game. So these values may change, and personally I do hope they do change, because right now the Maelstrom Staff at the very least is pretty underwhelming. Tomorrow we'll be going over the Maelstrom Bow. I just need to refresh myself on stamina DPS, because I don't typically play stamina DPS, so that way I can get good data for you guys, good parses, so you guys can actually see the various differences here. So I did all of my tests on a magicka, and I tested out a couple of different scenarios because of the bonuses that the Perfected Maelstrom Staff provides. So the Perfect Maelstrom Staff provides spell penetration, as you can see there. Now, the thing to take note is that this is an armor bonus. So what this means is that it is only active on the bar where you have your Maelstrom Staff. So if we go ahead and put the Maelstrom Staff here on the back bar here, and we change to a back bar, we'll see that the set bonus is highlighted. So that basically means we have spell penetration. But once we swap over to our front bar here, we have the Silence Perfected Staff here. We don't have that highlighted anymore. Now, the light and heavy attacks, they still get the additional bonus there, because that's just the effect of the unique effect of the Maelstrom Staff. But the spell pen is going to be missing. So that is the big thing here with the Perfected Maelstrom Staff here, is that we are not going to be able to get that spell pen while we're on our front bar. And we spend much more time on our front bar than we do on our back bar, so the spell pen actually isn't going to be all that beneficial. On top of that, magic DPS don't have an issue getting to the pen cap at all. We already have 4884 spell penetration from our light armor bonus, and assuming you have all of your debuffs active, you can easily reach the additional 1000 penetration or so that you need to get to the penetration cap. So when you have all your resistance debuffs active on the boss, those things like Major Breach, you have things like Torug's, Infused Crusher, you have Alkash. Once you have all those active, you only need 5850 additional penetration. We already have 4884, so we only really need about 970 additional penetration, which you can get very, very easily just by running something like the Moon Acolyte, or just putting 9 or 10 points into Spell Erosion. So the spell penetration that we are getting really isn't going to be all that beneficial. Yes, you could argue that you don't need to put any more points into Spell Erosion now, but again, you're only getting the spell pen on your back bar there, you're not getting it on your front bar, so you're going to end up underpenning while you're on your front bar if you decide to take out all of your points into Spell Erosion. Now, what does that mean in terms of parses? Well, I basically recreated 2 different scenarios, and these different scenarios are important to take note of here. So the first scenario that I did was imagine as if I was under pen. So here, basically what I did here was I took a look at what if I didn't put any points into Spell Erosion whatsoever. Let's say I was consistently under penetrating. So in this instance, my spell penetration doesn't really change at all. So this is with the normal Maelstrom Staff. So this is what the Maelstrom Staff is currently on live, and we pulled about 78.7k or so. Now, when we add in the spell penetration from Perfected, we do get a little bit of a boost here, because we're already under penetrating. So when we swap to our back bar, now we're at pen cap. But again, once we swap to our front bar, we lose that pen. So we see our mean pen is not the same as our max pen. So we're still under penning here, but it's not going to be quite as much compared to without the Perfected Maelstrom Staff here. So again, this is with the Perfect Inferno Staff here, so we do get the spell pen. Please take note here of the time I'm spending on my back bar compared to my front bar. As you can see here, I'm spending about a third of my time, a little less than a third of my time on my back bar. So if we decide to go ahead and math it out, we're getting about 1200 spell penetration. About a third of that would be roughly 400 additional penetration. If we go ahead back here to our mean spell pen, this is roughly 400, a little less than 400 additional spell pen over the non-perfect version. So it ends up working out approximately pretty well in terms of mathematics. We're getting about 400 additional spell pen on average here. Now, what if we are already hitting the pen cap like we're running New Moon Acolyte here? So you notice here that we are hitting higher 79.4, but compared to the 78.7, it's only about a 700 DPS difference, so probably within margin of error. With lucky crits, you can probably hit that same amount with the non-perfect version here. Now, with here, we're assuming that we're already hitting the pen cap here. So this is with New Moon Acolyte. So New Moon Acolyte does have a pen line in it, so we're already hitting the pen cap, which basically means that this additional pen line here with the Perfected Inferno Staff is more or less useless. And again, 33%, about a third of our time spent on our back bar, so we're not getting all that much benefit from the spell pen bonus. Pulled 71k here. This is a different build, obviously, so lower DPS. And this is with the non-perfect version here, and we pulled 71.1. So pretty much identical DPS here. And again, this is an over-pen scenario. So this is imagined as though you already are hitting the pen cap while you're on your front bar here. Basically, there's no difference whatsoever. This is just a normal Maelstrom Inferno Staff, so don't really need it because we're already hitting the pen cap. So in conclusion, I would say don't bother farming for the Perfected Maelstrom Inferno Staff. It's really not going to be worth it. You're only going to average roughly 350 to 400 additional pen on average. Plus, it's already easy enough for Magic DPS to get to the pen cap. And if you decide to run the Perfect Maelstrom and play it as though you're getting that 400 additional mean pen, you're going to risk underpenning on your front bar, which you're spending a lot more time on. So here, 8.5% of our time spent on our front bar, 67.9, 68.1. So you're losing a fair amount of pen on the front bar here, which is probably the bigger hit for your overall DPS. So I would say don't bother farming for the Maelstrom Perfected Inferno Staff at all. If you already have a Maelstrom Inferno Staff on live, then you're all set to go once Greymoor hits. Now again, this might change in future PTS patches. For example, they might say that this pen carries over to your front bar, much like how the unique Maelstrom Inferno Staff effect carries over to your front bar, in which case we will need to revisit that, and that is obviously going to be a lot better, even though it is still Spell Pen. This does mean we will be able to drop all of our points from Spell Erosion that way, so instead of having this weird yes, kind of no, but not really kind of situation we have right now. Alternatively, they could change it to something like Spell Crit, which would end up being a little bit stronger. But that's pretty much it for this video. Again, we're going to go over the Maelstrom Bow in tomorrow's video, and there are going to be more PTS videos coming out over the next few days. Again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next dungeon.